What's up, everyone? This is a unprecedented live stream right after Richard Hart had live streamed about the major DeFi hack that has most recently happened. And there's a lot of people that think that they're in DeFi, quote unquote, and they think that they're not going to have their private keys stolen from them or their crypto taken away from them. And in reality, we learn that admin keys, they're kind of like the main culprit behind a lot of these hacks or these, places like Binance or anything else that has some sort of discrepancy with the user's funds. A lot of it comes down to the admin keys. Now, what we know is that Hex.com has no admin keys, and the admin keys are actually thrown away, and then the contract itself is locked. It's locked, it's thrown away, and the contract itself is audited. But with Pulse Chain, it's not going to have any admin keys. Like I mentioned, we see that there's a $600 million scammer, hack, exploit, whatever you want to call it. And I haven't even shared this on Twitter or any of the social media. So whoever's watching is just like the normal, watcher. So shout out to everyone. Let's take a look at Wrenchy T says a crazy amount of hacks. Richard Hart literally has a subset of Twitter that is exploits or hacks or rug pulls. And it's just a main thread that just many lists down. And what it comes down to is people that did have admin keys or did have exploits that were vulnerable. Tablerus, greetings, Earthlings. Socialist. Smash the likes all. Shit. Pulse and Hex. Yeah, I mean, what it comes down to, we can share the screen real quick. Patience, everyone, patience. Okay, cool. Let's remove this comment here. So yeah, like I said, we're not even sharing on Twitter or Facebook, any of that. We're just going live and just going to cover a few minutes worth of information that's important for you, the viewer, to learn. So breaking. Crypto market hacked as scammers steal $600 million. Let's take a look. And since it opens up on a new tab, let me just make sure we're on the right tab here. Cool. Everyone can see the screen that I'm looking at. So breaking. Crypto market hacked as scammers steal $600 million from Poly Network. Break into Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. So this isn't just a one-chain hack. This is a multi-chain hack. Yeah, Bree says, pics or it didn't happen. Joker, I need you to come on with your kind of laugh. You've got a way better, sinister laugh than I do. Tableru says, my alien emojis come out as socialist. LOL, what? Yep, what's up, Pavlova? I was here first. Yeah, so the point is this, right? If you gain nothing else from this little introduction that I'm doing, what it comes down to is there's admin keys, and then there's also owning your own keys, right? There is delegating to an exchange, and then there is owning your actual crypto itself and having, cold storage or some sort of network storage to your private keys that you're not giving away to other people. Hexfetti, hey dude. So yeah, let's get back to the article. So yeah, $600 million, that's a lot of money, especially between Ethereum and Binance Chain. So let's take a look down here. So let's just make sure everyone can see. Okay. All right, move the comment. So Poly Network has urged miners to stop trading and blacklist crypto exchanges Binance, Huobi Global, OKX, and Coinbase Pro. So think about it. Someone that already has the keys to your crypto, they're now begging some other central entity to stop, and halt the trading, so they don't have any more whiplash or any more repercussion for having the keys in the first place. So let's continue. It says reports also state that Tether just froze $33 million on the wallet ending in 6.3 as part of the Poly network hack. The network has now red marked all the hackers' wallet addresses. So now they have control over, not control, but they have a management of what the addresses are already. And then they say, hey, Binance, Circle, Coinbase, can you please deactivate these transactions on this account? So Richard has talked about this. Let's make sure everyone can hear. So Richard has talked about this, right? When it comes to admin keys, whether it be via, quote unquote fiat, whether it be USDT, USDC, anything like that, they have full admin key rights of whether you were guilty or not guilty, you can be removed from the set itself that's able to transact. What's up, Bran? How you doing, Kaz? Yeah, part of this is a instinctual stream, right? There's a reason I don't have any description or anything like that. Part of it's just to have my own comments because I wanted to do it before Richard had streamed anyways. And then he streamed and it was like, okay, let's listen to the king. And so same thing with him, right? Hex.com users have never had any negative effect of the, yeah, probably not financial advice. I mean, at the end of the day, all this is just my opinions in the first place, right? But if I was ever to give financial opinions, it would probably be Hex and Pulse centric rather than, God knows what kind of territory is in the deep swamps. Picking up pennies in front of freight trains. Renchi T, that's exactly right? People, they get greedy. And I've even had some other people that I stream with, their followers, and say, hey, so-and-so, they're not responding back to me. But, should I keep my Celsius and BlockFi, whatever? Should I keep that kind of stake going for the next month? And do you think that the snapshot will be in the next month? And for me, it's like, it's like a deer in the headlights. Like I really am kind of ignorant when it comes to BlockFi and Celsius and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what I've learned is things without admin keys, whether it be Uniswap or Hex, they've benefited me in the past. And so things in the future that do have administration keys and administration rights, such as Celsius, BlockFi, whatever kind of crypto that is an exchange that delegates to you some interest. At the end of the day, you aren't the holder and you aren't the sole reliable person behind those keys. It's someone else. It's an entity that you happen to delegate to. Hexfetti. That's tough for Ethereum and Matic, but good setup for Pulse. I mean, yeah, the lack of admin keys is super beneficial. I mean, whether you trust Richard or not, I've made clips of this. You can trust him to the end of day, but if there's admin keys, there might be potential that, even as a devil's advocate, right? There might be a potential that the network gets screwed up somehow. But if there's no admin keys, and the network is already set up, decentralized in the first place, then you can't have that kind of, you can't have that kind of negative exploitation. Renchi T, Marcavelli. Yeah, let's say what's up to the chat. Like I said, it's not going to be a long stream at all. I got like 21 minutes before I need to do something else. But I wanted to say what's up to everyone and maybe answer a couple more questions that Richard hasn't been able to answer. And shout out to him for doing a wonderful stream, right? At the end of the day, like I said, people like Richard Hart, they believe in the cypherpunk mentality, which is not asking for permission, but is kind of like that, code is law. Just like other people might explain that rule of law, stuff like that. Well, guess what? Code is law. And people like Richard Hart, they don't ask for permission. They have taken the technology that Uniswap has, and they've moved it over to their own benefit. What's up, bro? Steven says, it's my fishing blog, says, my Hex story got in on historically the worst day of AA. I'm guessing day 1, maybe. Doing just fine. Not to be a long video, because like I said, I have a schedule, but I took one video down and made it private because so many people were bitching and complaining that, Eric Wall, we're now believing his FUD, his fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I put it back up recently. But I looked at some of the comments, and just like with the adoption amplifier and big payday with Hex, so many people that didn't understand the whole networking system, they got mad when whoever the origin address entity was that decided to stake for that one day. They got mad. They said, initially I was going to get a 3x on my big payday. Now I'm going to get a 30%, a 0.3x. And so what you have is you have the centralization of, economic authority, or you have like an economic centralization, but the actual network itself is still decentralized. And it's just similar to, these same arguments that people use against Hex or even Pulse recently can be used against Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, anything with like a central entity that it started from. And it's something that we need to nip in the bud, because it's something, like I mentioned, that's happened before. So yeah, it's not going to be a long stream. I kind of want to address some of the comments, maybe another couple of tweets, and that's it. Limon Ortega says, I hope everyone has been hitting the gym and eating right, no excuses. Yeah, I know, you're definitely right on that. Hextoshi, hey, Brand, Demand, and Hexicans. Northernmost Hexer, that's another mod in the chat. That's another someone that's very loyal and has been around for a long time. And even for OGs, right? If you don't agree with their opinion or whatever that they're coming from, you should still listen to them with credibility because they've been there from the get-go. Not saying that's with this person specifically, but just people in general that you don't agree with, right? If they have the scars to show that they've been around since the beginning of time, then you need to listen to them, especially the early Hexicans. So they say, Northernmost Hexer says, I got in on all the days in AA. That's awesome, right? Just like with Hex, right? I heard so many people saying, okay, days 16 through 19 are going to be the best days to sacrifice. And I know this as a certainty, right? Like in their own egocentric, post. And at the reality, it turns out that they weren't the best days to sacrifice. And that maybe the days 1 through 5 were the best to sacrifice, just like Richard had mentioned. But you can't listen to everyone at the end of the day. So what Northernmost Hexer did as a dollar cost average, I think is very important. 1 ETH each day. That's awesome, my friend. I'm glad you didn't make the same mistake that I did at the beginning of, some of my tweets are from like day 3. Well, day 1, accidentally not sacrificing, but minting through the contract address, sending it to the contract address, and not minting it through my own, go.hex.com. So I'm glad to see that someone like yourself was able to listen to the instructions. Hey, someone like myself wasn't able to listen to instructions on that first day, but that's when I messaged Richard and I kind of learned, okay, this is all on you. You need to learn the program and slow down a little bit before you do your sacrifice or before you do your AA contribution. Tarnwig says, hi, folks. Renchi T, nice to see you. I'd love to chat with some of these people if you ever want in like a private chat. That would be really cool to hear some of the people that I've interacted with a lot, but have never really talked to a whole bunch. But Renchi T, good to see you, says, looking forward to the next set of Brand Hammer clips. I guess that's where the nickname comes from. It's just Brand Hammer. But I do have a clip, actually, that's... let me just see. I know it's on Richard's most recent stream. I don't know if it's public yet, but let's see here. No, okay, it's still private. I'm going to post it after the stream. It says, Richard Hart calls out box mining, and then hashtag crypto, hashtag influencer, right? And whether it be the same JSNIP 4 that I listened to in 2017, or box mining, or BitBoy, or Altcoin Daily, or anyone that wants to gatekeep what's actually going on, they want to gatekeep that information, with you and to you. And so I think that that's like a really disgusting thing to wake up to once you realize what's going on. Tablerus. Hey, and by the way, I'm going back in maybe 3 months to work. So I'll take a couple, prints of your photos. I appreciate you sending that to me. But Tablerus says, and we've been on stream before. I'd like to be on stream again sometime soon. Tablerus says, Bran, your calm demeanor is great for the community. Believe me, just like with Richard, right? I'm trying not to swear as much as well. And just like with Richard, there's a whole bunch of fire cauldron going on inside. But you have to realize, how long is this legacy going to last for? Is this video going to be good for the next year or two, or is it just relevant to now? So you kind of have to be general to your audience and try and not do things that'll get people to click away. Identity Block says, more fear, uncertainty, and doubt coming. We're ready. Exactly. For anyone that's been there since the beginning of Hex, that wondering what the hell is going on with Pulse Chain, why did the origin address, sacrifice at the very last minute? Well, it's nothing new, right? It's nothing that we haven't seen before. This has happened with, Pulse Chain. It's happened with Hex at the very last minute, and it's kind of like a strategic approach. But the difference is between the AA last minute for Hex and the end of the sacrifice with Pulse is at least the OA for the Pulse part of the sacrifice. They didn't dilute the people that were going to qualify for the volume bonus. And then, shout out to Arte Suave. Angelo says, yo, what's up, everyone? Let me actually make sure. Sorry about this. Let me just go to my own video real quick and make sure that certain people are moderators that need to be. Give me just a second. Let me make sure he's... Okay, cool. All right, cool. So the other beautiful thing is to see with my family members, with some of my friends, sometimes they hear of a concept for the first time and it might not click, or it might be well, why was not tried before? And turns out it ends up being successful. And now you got to realize that, hey, we were on the right side of history, but here's the reasons that you might have disliked, but you could actually like in the future. So it's awesome to see some of my friends, some of other people's friends, coming around to the idea that, hey, you might not agree with this, or you might not agree with this person, but you at least see, at the very least, whether it be, you scratch Richard Hart out, you at least see that, okay, this was the top performing asset of 2020 and probably of 2021. And, what makes this engine tick? So Ash says, ETH looking like a pile of dog. Let's take a look here. So Ethereum USD. So, here's the thing, right? Ethereum, they had their London, I think it was hard fork. They're at $3,143, which is great. Here's the thing, is people that follow Richard, myself included, think that this could be a bull trap. But that doesn't mean that you discount the pump that's already going on, right? I think that the fundamentals behind having a deflationary inflation aspect is better over time than just complete hyperinflation. So the fact that Ethereum via EIP 1559 is burning some of the transaction fees, I think that that's good. And you look at some of the ETH that's been burned, and it's significant. Make way for Pulse. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? So make way for Pulse. It's August 10th, 2021, 2021 here in Seattle, area. But when it comes down to Pulse, when is that going to come out? Maybe 2 months from now, something like that. Like if we're all lucky and just crossing our fingers. So exactly, make way for Pulse, but also accept the reality that's going on right now. And when we take a look, let's just go to. Sorry about this. I got to type while I focus. Gasnow.org. So you guys should be able to see this, guys and gals. So gasnow.org. Let's just take a look at what the fee is, right? So to do a send, it's going to be $3.94. That's actually nothing. When it comes to some of the Uniswap, maybe $20 to $25 to do a swap. So that's not too bad right now. But the actual network itself sometimes can be unpredictable, right? So you need to really go to maybe Hex.Vision or look at an Ethereum gas tracker and kind of just see when the slowdown is, because everything has a cycle, whether it be real estate. My parents had real estate for 30 plus years, whether it be real estate and you buy in on the beginning of a market cycle, or be crypto. I bought Litecoin at $30 and then bought it again at $350 after selling at $420, thinking that I was just the most genius man ever, because just like dollar cost, Plan C, and Charlie had mentioned, you don't necessarily know your way around the first market cycle. And sometimes you might think, oh, it's having a dip, this asset is still really valuable. But in reality, you're buying like the beginning of that bull trap, or just beginning of the top of the market cycle. Let's scroll up. Like I said, this isn't going to be a super long stream. I've got something to do in about 7 or 8 minutes. But shout out to this gentleman, right? I mean, if you're still watching or not, irrelevant. But Arte, Suave, Angelo, just shout out to you, man. Like it's awesome to hear anyone, whether it's Richard on Bitcoin maximalism and is now an ETH fan and is now a altcoin fan, whether it be his own projects or not. It's important to be able to see what's going on in the general ecosystem. And I know someone like Dollar Cost Crypto, Miguel, he's been very influential, whether it be Cultivate Crypto, whether it be Modern Life Dating, whether it be any one of his friends that are in other crypto communities. He's been able to kind of just like educate over time and kind of show over time that, hey, whatever fear might be here is not actually here. So it's really cool to see other people in other communities being able to influence and get people into the right things, right? Because when you look at someone like Box Mining and you look at someone like this $600 million DeFi hack, you think like so many people, their portfolios were ruined and their lives were destructed because they had listened to XYZ influencer or whatever reason. So Hex Fetty says Ethereum itself is doing well on price, but those miners are acting like original banksters. Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, supply and demand, right? The miners, they're saying, hey, you want these transactions to come in? Well, either you are going to pay a higher transaction fee, or we're just not going to mine those blocks. So, you're definitely not wrong. Richard talks about it when it comes to the origin address, right? Oh, you might not agree with this, but hey, this is capitalism at its finest. And we've seen what socialism did when we had 100% of the supply go to everyone, as opposed to a big supply, locked up in a De Beers Diamonds Corporation. So Steven, it's my fishing blog, says, the way Richard Hart started, who's giving Bitcoin holders free money? Who's giving free self-help books? Who's giving millions to charities? Me, that's who's fire. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people, they see the flashiness and they see whatever sort of ego, and they paint that as the higher image as opposed to the real numbers. And so the beautiful thing about branching out to different communities is, hey, people in Hex are people that are, I hate to say it this way, but like followers of Richard Hart have tend to be right over time. And so if you can kind of just get people in over time, then maybe they'll convert. And and the thing is about anything, whether it be religion or anything else, you never want to like force that down the other person's throat, right? You kind of just want to tell them about it, and if they have some sort of similar experience, then maybe they'll come along. Todd LaRue says, "LOL, JSNP4 buys based." Like I said, I used to follow JSNP4. I used to follow the guy that he considered was a trader boss. I used to follow Box Mining, BitBoy, the whole 9 yards, right? And a lot of my portfolio, which wasn't much at the time, was a few $1,000s. A lot of it just went to absolute hell and just went down into the depths of misery. But then I had always followed Richard Hart and had always kind of realized, like, man, I've got a lie detector, right? Very good one for that matter, from just the stuff that I've had socially. Richard Hart has always passed that test. Even though I didn't agree with all of his ideas in 2017, I realized that he was right over time. And so, yeah, like you mentioned, other people, whether it be blatantly calling something a scam or using some sort of like weird mystic stuff to think that you're right, like at the end of the day, the numbers are what prove that people had, good returns. And either they listened to you and they had good returns, or they listened to you and had really bad returns and just bad experience. Chega says, in 2019, I saw Box Mining review making fun of Hex. In the same way, I'm glad I bought 345 million Hex for $2,000 USD in 2019 at that price. I'll tell you what, Cheka, I've never told everyone my numbers, but you got a lot more Hex than I do. What I have is not even 100 million, so shout out to you for doing that. Okay, someone else has a comment. Neil says, I hope all you Hex guys get wrecked. Neil, I got a, sense of reality for you. When you start to, just like the yin and yang stuff, like when you start to wish fear and harm on other people, eventually it comes back to you. And like, why would you wish that the Hexicans or the people that are following Richard Hart, the Pulsicans, whatever, why would you wish harm on someone else? At the end of the day, that's like a negative energy that you're sowing and that you wish other people would get wrecked. I mean, I don't know if you've been wrecked or if you just have been so jealous of the gains that people have had that now you wish they would get wrecked. But either way, that's a really low-ass vibe of energy. And I suggest you improve it, man, or guy or girl, because, that kind of thinking ain't going to get you anywhere, right? Look at what the millionaires are doing. Look at what the multimillionaires are doing. They're listening to people that are smarter than them. They're listening to people that are doing better things than them. And they're kind of following in those footsteps and like incorporating and providing value. But this comment just provides no value. So, just watch the comments, man, because that's your first warning there. It's fine if you want to have that opinion, and then it's fine if you want to address it on my chat. Like, okay, there's just stuff I'm going to allow and stuff I'm not going to allow. And, speaking of which, let's go to... We already looked at the gas, which is like nothing right now. But let's go to youtube.com/Ballet8Brand, right? I've got a channel that I deleted I didn't delete, but I made one video private, and it's because it was getting so much FUD and so much just like unintelligent content and comments from people that I thought that might understand it a little bit better from the other person's perspective. But let's go to I think it's just this one. Yeah, okay, so I changed the title to this, which is Eric Wall comments on the $27 million donated for the Sens Foundation for Pulse Chain, Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse. And so that's pretty much all I had posted on the comment itself. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to listen to both sides, whether it be positive for your, for your argument or for your claim, or whether it be absolute effing bullshit and it just be something that's completely liable, slander, and has no logic to it behind it. But I had made those clips because, and I'm still going to, because someone like Eric Wall is the definition of someone that's like in the middle of the IQ spectrum. And not to use this example, but there's like the low IQ, the high IQ, and like both those people kind of get it. But the people in the middle somehow just don't get it. And they're like too smart for their own good, or they're too dumb for their own good. And whether this guy's a Hexican and he's just insanely manipulating the Hex community, or whether he actually feels this way, it's not something to personally, from what I've experienced, to spend your time with, right? I've already given this guy enough time. I've already given his tweets and responses enough time. And there's just a certain point where you realize, the leech is here the whole time. It's doing nothing good but just sucking my blood. So that's all I'll say there. I'll go for just a couple more minutes. I'll turn on the vibrate so I can learn when I need to do what I need to do. You were a double, triple whale. Candace Blanton. I mean, in terms of gas fees, LOL, price is whatever. Sorry for the curse words. Hey, don't apologize for nothing, right? Sometimes I'll censor myself just to not be such a, person. But let's read some of the other stuff here. Only insecure men wish failure on the successful. I totally know what you mean, Arte Suave. Yeah, I mean, I've had, I know exactly what you mean, right? I've had times where I was more skinny and, the most healthy I'd ever been. And some people that were not as healthy around me had wished dwellings, and they had wished negativity on me. And then you have people that you listen to other millionaires and other people that are successful, and you realize there are sacrifices. And some people realize like, hey man, this is part of the journey. You're still growing. You already got, millionaire status over here. Now you're getting back the health over here. And it's all just kind of like a loop that you're getting back into. But like he mentions, it's just like that terminology of like misery loves company, that it really does. And you have to realize that whether it be the 5 most influential people around you, around your social circle, you need to be careful. I don't care if it's your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, whoever, your best friend, whatever. You need to be careful about who's around your inner circle, because at the end of the day, you only have so much time for getting stuff done and for, having social experiences. And if those people are going to drag you down over time, you just don't want those people in your life, in my opinion. So yeah, Mount Coiner says, just watch something pretty sad. OG crypto YouTuber Mr. Sotko announced the end of his channel due to its stagnant growth. I see, it's sick to see BitBoy and friends grow while real guys like this fail. Honestly, I have no idea who Mr. Sotko is, but I've learned this, just like with Richard Hart saying NFT, no effing thanks, right? And with other things, and I don't know if this is this guy's opinion, but if you're going to alienate something completely, sometimes you can just get the opposite of that community and of what you want. And it seems that, like you mentioned, stagnant growth in some areas, Fortunately, we've seen collectively Richard Hart, his following has grown significantly. Same thing with mine on YouTube. Same thing with mine on Twitter and a lot of Hexicans. So sucks to see that happen, but glad to see other people doing well that deserve it. Yeah, what's up, Bree? Hey, and by the way, even if it's just audio, let's do something sometime on audio. I know you went on Discord Syndicate sometime, and it'd be cool to kind of hear your opinion. Tell him, Bran, get him. Super Hex, Cruise and Flex. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Super Hex? Says, what's up, Balliet Bran? From 30,000 feet. I'm in a private jet. Are you really in a private jet, or are you just a bot? Because I can I can take a look at your Twitter channel, right? Are you actually really what you claim to be, or are you just a BSer? So let's take a look at your channel. So he mentions crypto was invented to remove middlemen. Stop losing all your money to admin keys and middlemen. Stop giving your coins to an exchange, whether it be Coinbase, Binance, FTX, whoever. Stop giving your control to the other person. And so it says Poly Network 2, that's their Twitter account, but it was hacked today, losing people's life savings. Here's the disgusting thing, right? Before I get into it, I remember freaking BitConnect 2017 days when grandmas were saying, oh my God, I put in 10,000, I'm now going to be able to retire. And I'm now going to be able to have the life that I never thought I'd live. And then you see the Ponzi scheme do its rug pull that it normally does. And now there's so much harm that was initially thought that it was going to be success. But in reality, it was illusion. So back to Super Hex here. Someone had called him. Someone in the chat had called him on his bluff and said, hey, this is just a fake. Whatever photo that you posted in front of this private jet, you're just bullshitting. And that's all Photoshop. And so, this lovely gentleman that I've met before, had the pleasure to meet, showed that it was not fake, but in reality, it was truth. And so, whether it be whatever kind of argument you have at the end of the day, a lot of it can be disproven from people that actually have reality on their sides. So that's the only thing I'll say is I'm not going to preach one thing or another, but I will stand up for people that are speaking truth. And a lot of times it's just Hexicans. I mean, how many people have made trading groups and made different courses that give you information, but then profit on, say, $1,000 fee or, $700, $500 to get into this course? Because I remember the first courses that I spent money on, and it was like $4,000 in total to get into this specific private room. And when you look at other people and you compare it to those people, you see, oh, hey, these Hexicans and these other people, they're actually like giving away this information for free, and they're like, proving themselves, wrong to the haters or proving themselves right to the haters. And it's just interesting how you kind of get different dichotomies. We're not going to go for very much longer. I still got something that I need to do in a few minutes here, but let me turn on the sound here. Yeah, AJ Rip City Hex says, sorry, Bran, better late than never. I'll circle back later. Dude, don't apologize for anything, man. Appreciate you coming in. Andrew Tate says, hey, Belly at Bran. What's up, my friend? Mount Coiner says, he's been asking about Hex, been sharing his streams to the Hex community to drop it in and teach him about Hex for weeks. Not many bothered. Wasted opportunity for everyone. Don't know who you're talking about, but would love to circle back. Bitfinesse says 611 million. Poly Network. Nice job, guys. How did they think this looks to new coiners? Not good. Chatbots. Yeah, give me just a second. Let me play the intro, and we'll come back in just a few minutes. Like I said, I got something that's kind of coming up, but I'll keep streaming until that comes up, right? So let me just play the 90-second intro. It's actually like an 88-second intro, but give me a second, all right? I'll be back.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. Balliot Brand.
Okay, cool. So I've got something in my hand here. Thanks for everyone, the 60 people that are still listening. I wanted to elaborate. Like I said, we'll go for just a few more minutes until I get my little text notification here. But let's go back to the share screen, right? So we can see Richard has talked about Hex being up 100% uptime, even though it's a smart contract on Ethereum. 100% uptime, whether it be Binance, Raven, SushiSwap, all these things, Hex is still the number one when it comes to uptime. No other cryptocurrency has ever had 100%. So now let's take a look at our buddy boy here, Box Mining. And whether you crap talk Hex is not my opinion or not, right? But when you're misleading your followers to the meat grinder itself, that's the part that I've got a problem with. And when you claim to be on the side of history and the side of truth. So let's just take a look. So Box Mining, he's got nearly 50,000, let's round it up, 150,000 followers on Twitter, and he's got a decent amount on YouTube too. So not following this little bitch, but so what it says is, well, I'm a victim of the poly hack. Fuck. And let's just repeat everything the way that it is. So 7 hours ago, someone says, damn, sorry to hear that, Michael, which is his first name. Hope it's not a big percentage of your portfolio and that you're okay. You'll make it back, I'm sure. And so Box Mining, I guess his name is Michael, he says, pretty fucking big part, sadly. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Not sure, man. Sucks. And then let's just see if he has any other responses. Someone has mentioned this person that I need to follow. Let's just follow him right now. But they say Crypto Manson says, Hex.com users unaffected. So sorry for swearing, turned you off, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? We're going to cover what's on the screen. And it's interesting how the people that called Hex a scam for the past 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever, how now they're getting wrecked. And like I mentioned, same thing happened to some of the people I had followed in 2017. But let's not spend too much time on this degenerate. I don't want to, like I said, waste time on people that don't deserve it. The thing is, you got to realize is this person wrecked themselves. And guess what? Now they've wrecked the people that they influenced to get into the same crap projects that they were in. Now let's go back into something that's actually legitimate and that has value. Just got to find the person here. 1 second here. Okay. got it pulled up here, and it's what I have in my hand here. I just want to make sure that I'm a little bit prepared and have the actual photo itself. So let's scroll over to myself. So actually, first we'll cover the art, and then we'll cover the channel itself. I like Savage Brand. Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. I got no problem swearing or any of that, but I realize sometimes a couple of viewers drop. So kind of want to pull a Richard, but also kind of want to be like, F everyone. Let's just do it the whales only way. Anyways, without further ado, so we got I'll show their YouTube channel in just a few minutes. We've got the 5,555 day club, which is over 15.2 years. And here's the thing. This was actually on wood. I thought it was on like ceramic or like a plate. Turns out it's just wood. And I like this color scheme a lot better than the other one. The other one was kind of like hex colors and rainbowy, flashy, unicorn BS. But for me, I like the masculine, like the blue and gold. So anyways, I'll show you their channel in just a second. But it says Hex exclusive. So I think that's pretty cool. And then just has the Hex logo in gold there. So it's got the little, right here, the Fibonacci spiral. So thought that was pretty cool. Hope that some of you are able to enjoy that. I'll definitely, put it somewhere on the back screen that is good for everyone to see. Pabba Lava, hey, hope you're doing well. And still haven't got the final text, so we're gonna go for a little while. Pabba Lava says brand hammer at brand Brazology. Yeah, dude. Hey, I got no problem putting down the damn hammer. And actually, I should buy like a little gavel and just do like brand hammer when I want to savage people, because that would be kind of cool. I saw these arts on Twitter. Yeah, let me actually go back to the channel because I'd meant to stay on topic. So this was the lovely lady. She's another Hexican as well. But Siarhi, just going to completely BS that name. So I'm guessing it's the female out of the two. But either way, you've got a male-female couple. And Siarhi did the artwork itself and does very pretty Hexican work. You can see, let's just make sure you guys can see. So yeah, you can see you got a couple of different plaques. You can see the one on the right was the one I was talking about. I personally wasn't super intrigued to spend $250 when it comes to the artwork on the right. But when I saw the one on the left, it seemed just more like exclusive, badass, and cool. So I'd love to get a little plaque from her, but we'll talk about that in private. So yeah, you can see they've got multiple different series of merchandise and stuff like that, and it is wood based. It's not ceramic or anything. But this is the lady, Crypto Gifts _EN, that does the little artwork there. So shout out to her, and her and I have PM'd a couple times. I still need to post up the photos, but that's pretty much it there. That is badass. I need one. Sweet ballet brand. Yeah, I mean, just like what Motley Investor has mentioned when it comes to, okay, you have a community, you say that you have the best video editors and the videographers, and you've got people that can take good photos and whatever, right? But just because they're the best doesn't mean you're going to get the best work, right? There's what you pay for, and there's what you get, the value. And so you got to be able to pay people for their work. And fortunately, Hexicans, myself included, are able to pay people for their work. Okay, Jan Kowalski. Nice to see you, Jan. Hope you're doing well. Let's get back to some of the comments here. So I'm guessing it's a girl. She says, rest in peace, EIP 1559. Fees high instead of lower. A big joke. Only Pulse Chain is a solution. See ya at the top, Pulse Brothers. Yeah. So something I want to cover that even Richard had mentioned, that he had thought that EIP 1559 or had alluded to was going to be like a reduction of the gas fees. And from what people like Arte Suave, Angelo, and people like Cultivate and Dollar Cost and Motley and whoever else I talked to, it never seemed to be a reduction of the gas fees, right? Just like the introduction of raising the S-load function was. This doesn't seem to be the same thing, but in reverse. It just seemed to be a pumpamental, just like Hex or just like Pulse Chain. For example, for Pulse Chain, it's got a 25% burn rate, and it's not inflationary, it's completely deflationary, but it's got a 25% burn rate on all transactions. It just seemed to be that similar transaction where, hey, as opposed to this going to the miners, now it's going to be burnt, which means that it can't be sold. It can't be sold for pollution. So that's the only thing that I've ever seen it as. Never as a, reduction of the fees or anything like that. Russ says, hey, hello, Ballet Brand. Hello, Hexicans. Thank you for the recommendation, Papa Lava. The gold is definitely fire. And then, like I said, Hex Conductor said, smash the likes now. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, right? There's a lot going on. And at the end of the day, whether you follow Richard Hart or whether you don't, it seems at least that his bull trap narrative has taken place and is taking place. Whether it actually does that bull trap or not is something that he is kind of, independent of whether it actually proves itself wrong. But I think that it's pretty cool to see what the market's doing, and it's exciting. Love this song. Go comment on one of his videos and let him know he's an asset in the crooked land of crypto. Richard Hart is some dancer. Yeah. Richard Hart, he's got the skills, right? He's got the skills to pay the bills. So he's got some cool little dances there, which I'm not gonna try and emulate. Titan coin. Our good old buddy Box Mining. Like I mentioned, people like whatever his name is, Box Mining, people like JSnip4, because I used to follow him. His name is Joe, JSnip4 and stuff like that. What Whales Only talks about is furus, fake gurus. And it's people that pretty much, just like with, not to get into like screwing up my channel too much, but just like with people that claim to be certain religions or claim to be preachers of certain things where they grift and they kind of, tell you a coddle story that, oh, you'll feel good by me telling you the story, and then let me also get you to tithe, 10%, even though I'm a terrible human being, or this entity might not be the best money to, send money to. So Renchi T says, some really cool Hexican artwork. Yeah. I mean, if you can support people, whether it be Crypto Wares, whether it be Crypto Styles USA, whether it be anyone that's making any Hex or crypto artwork, if you can support them and they support what you believe in, then why not give them some money or some crypto and be able to represent, what you care about. So this one just says sacrifice it all. I've got another one that's like Hex in the middle of the galaxy, the universe. So that's pretty cool. Not following this freak. Jan Kowalski says, if I be wealthy as him, I could dance like that too. Yeah, I've never had $1 billion, may or may not have had millions in the future, or, millions in the past, stuff like that. But yeah, there's a difference between million and billion. And you see people like Richard that have probably their backstage is like 1.5 million, something like that. It's like, oh, okay, this person isn't BSing, right? There's the facade that you can paint and that you can kind of try and pretend as. And then after a while, just like tarnished gold, whatever, it eventually fades away and you brush it down to its original size. So people like Richard, fortunately, have had the proof of work that have been able to show that, hey, this is legit. Swearing is caring. I just made that up. Hey, dude, I'm down to go back to it, man. I only see a couple followers drop, so that's not a big deal. Joe is a joke. He trashed all over Hex in the beginning. Well, that was one of the same followers that I kind of corroborated my beliefs with at the beginning with Litecoin. Litecoin was a big community I was in. big coin I was in, and part of it was from following this guy and being like, we're not at the top, we're just at a little bit of a dip. And part of me had to learn from just like my own experience versus what the other people were telling me was the reality. Renchi T says, do you know any more about the Crypto Knights Hexican shield Motley was looking at? I do. I got all the answers for you. What you want, what you got. So Motley's mentioned that the shield itself, the design is still being made. They need to have like a minimum production of like 300 shields, something like that. So they're making the shields and they're getting the minimum design itself that they can sell. And I don't know what the cost is going to be or any of that, but they're still making it. So to my knowledge, I think it's more of a smaller manufacturing thing. It's not like an Amazon the next day. So it's a little bit more time inclusive, which is great because the quality looks amazing. And I think it's just still being produced. Hey, what's up, Rick Schmitz? Go follow this person. I've never seen them post any videos or anything. I need to go back onto their channel. But them and myself have talked a handful of times, and they're a moderator of Mitch Ray's channel. So shout out to him for having Richard on his channel and recommending, Hex buy zones and stuff like that, and kind of being in the loop there. All right, we're not going to go too much longer, but Hexican Green Horse, Bitfinesse, I see you're in there too. Let me get to this person first. So Hexican Green Horn, not Green Horse, but they say Pulse will make many millionaires. Not going to say for myself, but I know people that had just $1,000, and let me guess, if you had a 3,633x gain, well, guess what? Now that 1,000x before staking is now what, 3,633 million? Like, you can't predict the future with just you can't predict the future with just a closed eye and just like a crystal ball. But what you can do is you can look at the past and you can see, oh, Ethereum's done this before. Pulse Chain is just like this Ethereum network, but better and doing all these other implications. Hex, we don't know what Hex could do, but we've seen what Hex has done, and we've seen what Bitcoin has done. Oh, okay, so 2.5, 10,000x in 2.5 years. Well, it's still been under 2.5 years, and Hex is already at like, a third of that goal. So it's very, very possible. Yeah, Brazology, we're not going to be going much longer, but we need to get Brand to the central cooling system. Yeah, I got the cooling system on the ground there. Just don't want to make your guys' audio so, bad. Crypto Joker says, I predict the future. Hey, what's up, Crypto Joker? How you doing, man? He says, I see Hex being $20 next year. I see Pulse going to 4,000x. Totally. I mean, a penny was a real long shot, and once we hit that before the end of the year, it's like, oh, okay, so this thing is a little bit more powerful than what I think it can be. And just like just like 1 penny was a target for a lot of us OGs. Well, guess what? Now $1 is a target for a lot of the newer future OGs, and so you've got something that continues to replicate itself and continue to prove itself over time. Pabalaba, laugh out loud. Yes, tell me more, Crypto Joker. That would be insane, Joker. Yeah, $20 next year. I know Gunther has predicted like $30 next year, and you never know, right? If we do another 3,000x from here, well, where's the price at? But that would just be too big of a number, right? Because market cap means everything in the world. Hex Fetty says, the market needs Pulse. Ethereum did this to itself by raising gas fees and getting hacked for 200 million. Part of the problem, even someone mentioned this, not going to say who, but in my most recent stream, they were talking about move fast and break things. It's like, but don't move fast and break things, right? Don't move fast and and have a poly network exploit. Like, don't do that and ruin the people their utility of your network. Wally Stars, I won't make predictions no more. I said 5 cents at the end of 2021. Hey, you're on the right side of history right there at the end of the day. So it makes sense to just stay on that prediction and have your answer be insanely correct and have your answer just, blown out of the target as opposed to, the opposite. Ash, will we empower people to better decision making? Well, that's the real question, right? Things like Hex have done more than what Richard had intended with Sci-Fi. So things like that community, Pulse or Hex, Sci-Fi and Sense, they can make more of a difference than what Richard had writ a whole self help book on. So it's definitely possible. Full of financial freedom, folks. Welcome to a beautiful, beautiful world. We are going to be millionaires and lead the free world. Yeah, I mean, it's what Wales was kind of having some conflict on with RG3 and Kinetics, but and funding Jim and Papa B. But the point is at the end of the day, yeah, there's like the current system we have, and there's like, how do you beat the person, whatever game you're playing? How do you beat them at their own rules? So that's kind of the moves that Kinetics and RG3 were talking about. The market needs Pulse. Ethereum did this to itself by raising gas fees and getting hacked for 200 million. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what Richard talks about. Like, when there's admin keys, administration keys, there's backdoors and possibilities of exploits. So that just happened to happen. Over a quarter of the total supply of Hex is either sacrificed or staked. Yeah, that's exciting. That's another thing that I kind of just covered briefly on my channel. But so many people crap talked my video of Eric Wall, and Richard Hart saying, "Oh my God, Richard Hart, he deluded us from the Pulse chain sacrifice." And so did this guy like Crypto Kevin or Crypto Cameron talk, something like that. And it's like, dude, clearly you just got here and you've never seen how the big payday itself worked. And the analogy comes down to, hey, there can be, network decentralization, and then there can be centralization within the financial aspect of the network within itself that kind of has to do with the whole ecosystem, being successful. And at the end of the day, some people, they want to provide nothing in value and then just frickin' be a socialist and just beg for everything that this other person is getting, even though they're the effing creator and they're the person that's done the most work behind it, them and their team. So that's really what it comes down to. Oh yeah, Colin talks crypto. Yeah, Colin talks crypto. Hexican Greenhorn says, "Buckle up, y'all. We're going to the moon." Totally, we're going to the moon and then to Saturn. Fuck the moon, man. We got Saturn to go to. Simply supply and demand. I agree. 95% of the, and this is the big number, as in a fear. 95% of the OA worth of the sacrificing was done on the last few hours, and that means that the entity, your Richard Hart, is going to just dump on your head. If he would have done that, he would have done that with Hex, not with Pulse. Talking out of your colon. Yeah, so that's pretty much all we got. I mean, was there anything else that I wanted to show you? I showed you the beautiful artwork piece. Let's see if there was anything else. I mean, at the end of the day, 600 million, 600, I think it was 609 or 611, but that many hundreds of millions of dollars was hacked or scammed out of that Poly network itself, and part of it with BSC and with Ethereum network. But those have all kind of been exploited. And guess what? Hexicans, untouched. And so it's beautiful to see that not only are Hexicans on the right side, of history, but someone like, Richard is on the right side of history, which you would think to be with how, much he talks about that. But Hexicans and, people like Richard are on the right side of history. And let me just see. I want to see if I can find just the big thread of Richard talking about all of the scams and the hacks and stuff happening. I think it's on this next comment here. Okay, cool. Yep. I found it. So let's. We're gonna end it here. We're gonna end on this screen. Let me just make sure everyone can see here. Yeah, Brazology, and by the way, I want to see you beat RG3's little wimpy Porsche on a race. Yeah, no context, Ballet brand. I'd love that, right? I've got a lot of stuff that you could clip even on my earlier days. But yeah, Tarn Week. So anyways, to the point of what I wanted to say, Richard has a whole thread of people that have been in decentralized finance, people that have been in centralized finance exchanges, stuff like that, been hacked, exploited, and have all fell victim to the problem of centralized controller entities. And this is just a big laundry list of things that have happened. So we got Tether throws $33 million worth of USDT. So same thing, any stable coin or Circle, Tether, USDC, all of that stuff is kind of centrally controlled. $250 million hack. And that was before we learned that it was actually 611. And then this one too, I had a whole bunch of people talking about Raven inflation was super great. And so there's a longer laundry list than this, but that's pretty much it for now. And yeah, that's pretty much all we got here. Yeah, he has to have an entire thread to keep track of them all. Goes to show you, I mean, you've got, it's like over like a couple hundred posts, like over 200 posts of failures, and then you've got one of success over here. Like, no wonder. There's a reason that like the hacks versus everything else is just, to the freaking moon, while everything else is like dying and having exchange hacks or DeFi hacks or wallet hacks because of admin keys. So things like that. Hello, autocorrectly. Seek Crypto says, thanks, Bran. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got, right? Where are we at with Hex? We're at 12 cents. We're at 12.1 cents. And for anyone that just got here that thinks that that's low, that's not low at all. That's not low at all. I remember when it was, 4 zeros and then a 1, or four zeros and then, I think 4 zeros and then 5.6 was the absolute lowest, but that was the absolute lowest. And a lot of us that have been here for the past year and a half, 2.5 years, know that what you think as a new person is a dip is actually not a dip at all. It's actually like a new floor before we go to $1. And I'm not going to find it, but Richard has a comment that says, what good is 10 cents? Because there's so many people just orgasming over 10 cents. Oh my gosh, she's going to light the candles. And he said, like, what good is 10 cents before we hit $100? And that just completely shatters the dollar, completely shatters the $10 and then $100 narrative. So that's really where we need to be thinking when it comes to zooming out and realizing what the hell this can do. Okay, cool. So yeah, I got a few more minutes. My little delivery here has a few more minutes. So let's just hopefully say what's up to the chat. Hex Fetty says, what is 10 cents on the way to $100? But that sounds asinine, right? Like, how could something that's worth 10 cents ever become $100? Like, what has Bitcoin done? Oh, like I mentioned, like the way that you can kind of somewhat predict the future or like guesstimate the future is like by what the past has done. And it's not even going to replicate, but it's maybe going to rhyme. So when you see something like Bitcoin doing a 6.5 million X, well, hey, that went from a penny to $65,000. All right, well, maybe that's some significant numbers to actually consider. Grin Talk says, thank you, by the way, for the $4.99. Says, what do you think a $300 sacrifice can do with Pulse? Well, like I mentioned, it's not what I think it can do, but the real question is, what sort of debts do you have? What sort of, is this money that you're willing to lose? If so, how long can you hold it for, right? I remember, I even published a screenshot, not of what the numbers were, but of day 3, stuff like that, day 1, day 2. And like, okay, cool. That's awesome that you were you were there on day 3 or there on day 10. But how long did you hold for? Bitcoin did a 6.5 million X. Were you there for the 6.5 million X? Or did you buy Bitcoin at a penny and sell it at 2 pennies, and now you're there at $30,000? So what I think it can do, I mean, heck, we've seen what Hex can already do within its short period of time that it's been alive. For a time frame, we've seen what Bitcoin has done, what Ethereum's done. I mean, hey, why not a 10,000x in 2.5 years? But how long can you hold through that, right? Can you have $1,000 turn into $3.3 million and you just all of a sudden hold up until that time? Maybe you can. Maybe a lot of us have already had that happen. Maybe some of it's happened through staking and through hard locking, which thankfully that's happened, because otherwise we wouldn't have had those kinds of gains. But yeah, I mean, I've seen significant money become 1,000x, 2,000, 3,000x, but it just depends on how far in the future or what kind of debts you have to pay. I mean, we'll look at someone like David Feeder, OG Hexican, had like a $700 principal. I don't know when, but $700 principal turned into like $3,500, something like that, and paid off his whole college debt that was enslaving him. And who knows how many X's that was, but it was definitely before the first 1,000x. So what kind of, you have to be more specific, like what kind of obligations do you have in your family life or your personal life or things like that might be coming up. Do you want to know how Hex is going to do? Look at its track record up and to the right. Yeah, I mean, you look at what Hex on Ethereum's done, and now I gotta address this before I leave. You got some people on Pulse Chain thinking that Hex is just going to be some cheap coin for whatever reason, and I don't think that that's the case at all. I mean, you look at someone like Richard that clearly has control over what the automated market maker is going to do and what the initial swap contracts are going to do, and it's going to equalize some of the pairs, and it's going to equalize it at the value that the entity or whatever person wants to think that value is worth. Well, I don't think that it's going to be the first trade that just gets given out to the free market as like, oh, now we can have price discovery here. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's already going to be set in place from its ratio that the contract provider created. And then I think we're going to have market discovery from there. And, maybe PHEX eventually outpaces the price of Hex over time. Yeah, like Renchi says, we like the expensive Hex everywhere. Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care whether it's Ethereum and you're paying more fees or whether it's on Pulse Chain. You're going to be getting a yield-generating asset that you just can't get anywhere else. And when you listen to people like Wales Only, Kareem, Mehdi Allen on the Quant Gang, they all talk about what the value discovery and what the price discovery is of something like that can do so much work. All right, just a couple more minutes. Any more questions, throw them in. I'll answer them real quick. We going to $1. Yeah, we're totally going to $1. Heck, man, we're going to $100 and then some, right? Like I mentioned, we're past a penny And Bitcoin back in the day had a penny pricing, and it went to $65,000. I got 30 minutes, but did those people at the beginning of Bitcoin think that it was going to go up 6.5 million X? Of course not, right? It was just magic internet money at that time. It's going to be interesting once this all goes into effect and we have bridges, etc. Super exciting to see. Where you come up to 1,000 question mark? I'm guessing you mean 1,000x. Sounds like crypto. Ethereum did its first 10,000x in 2.5 years. In like 2015 when it first came out. So are all the alts going to follow the same? No. Not all of the alts are going to follow the same. Just like with any ratio, any sort of discovery, any sort of price chart, does everyone get to just live happily ever after? No. Some of those shitcoiners need to burn, need to go down in value hell because they bought something that was worth nothing, but they thought it was worth something because it was quote unquote scarce. When it comes down to all of the alts going to follow the same, no. There's a 80-20 rule. So say out of 100 cryptos, say 80 of them are at like the bottom 100, and then 20 of them are at like the top 100. Well, you've got even more of a divide when it comes to crypto, and less radical numbers. So the actual numbers out of that 80 to 100, maybe 2 or 3 out of that 100 become successful. Maybe. That's like being optimistic. What do you think that automated market maker Richard was talking about is? I mean, Uniswap version 2.0 is an automated market maker. Richard's talked about enabling the admin key, which is like a 15% tax on new liquidity, something like that. So he's mentioned that as a possibility for new liquidity that gets automatically added. Or he's mentioned just keeping like the Hex.com type of fork of Uniswap being over as well. We really don't know. Hot gaming. What is different about Hex versus shitcoins? So why do you compare Hex to Bitcoin? Well, what can you do with Bitcoin? Can you build smart contracts on top of it? Can you do these other things with it? No. Okay, so you can just like buy it and sell it and send it, right? Send it and receive. That's pretty much the only 2 things you can do with it. Well, what can you do with Hex? You can do the same thing. What do you do with Bitcoin mining? Well, Bitcoin mining uses proof of work, be it electricity, via pollution, via SHA-256 mining algorithm to mine these Bitcoins. But what that is pollution. And what it is Hex is pretty much like a digital version of the Bitcoin, right? Where Bitcoin uses, like I said, proof of work. Hex uses a hybrid proof of stake, and it doesn't require the same things that Bitcoin does. I mean, what is Bitcoin? Is it a currency? Because it can't be all these things at once, right? Is it a currency? Is it a store of value? Is it a unit of exchange? All these other things that Bitcoiners talk about. Well, it can be only like 2 of 3 of them, not all 3 out of 3. So they say, okay, so can't OMG do the same as Hex? OMG, a so-called shitcoin? Honestly, I don't know much about OMG. Looked into it in 2017. Can't speak much about it now. I mean, what I can speak about is Hex is completed, it's locked, it's audited, it's verified. There's nothing you can do to change it. This isn't necessarily the channel to just speak about altcoins, at the free will, just because I haven't, taken that initiative anymore to care about that. I'm in it for the mad gains, not just for the technology. I know everyone loves that. Oh my God, isn't this Lightning Network on Bitcoin and Litecoin going to be so amazing? It's like, no, it's not. So Okay, AJ, Quant Gang going live. Let's end the stream right here anyways. I didn't intend this on being long, so let's end this right here. Go to Quant Gang. Let me just make sure I got a link for y'all real quick. We're going to link you to the link before I leave. One second here. Let me just make sure I send everyone to the proper link, and then we can all leave and just relax. Hey, maybe link the link, and I'll just leave that where we go. But anyways, yeah, go check out Quant Gang. We got Kareem. He can talk for forever. We got Whales Only, Matty Allen. They're all great characters, and they're all different parts of the puzzle, right? Everyone kind of brings their own thing together. Just like Richard Hart has his own thing, the community has its own thing. But honestly, I'm probably not going to wait for the link. I mean, unless you want to get to it sooner than later, I'll probably just end it from here. Dester, if Hex does a 14x from now on, it'll have a market cap larger than Bitcoin, right? I think that sounds correct. Do some research on Hex smart contract dynamics too. Okay, cool. We're going to end it here. Go to Quant Gang. Go to allmylinks.com/Matty Allin. Type in Quant Gang on YouTube. Type in Matty Allin on YouTube. And I'll see you guys over there, guys and gals. So thanks, everyone, for this quick intro video. And I'll see everyone at the next time.